Alright, so I'm ready to get started on the cabinet itself, doing the actual woodworking, and this is the exciting fun part. Now there's a couple things I learned from my last videos, and I'm going to try to correct this. So one was that I didn't really get all of the work on the camera the first time. A lot of it I did without having the camera around because it was, to me, boring. Maybe other people want to watch that though. So I'm going to go ahead and film absolutely every bit of work that I do on this. The other thing is I'm going to have two sets of videos. So I'll have one video that will be the full unadulterated, everything that I'm doing video in normal time. And then the second set will be just the speed time compressed, sped up version so that you can just see the things being done in real time, or not real time, but quickly so that you don't have to wait forever to see it. So that'll be that. Now to get started here, these right here are my 4 MDF panels that I got. I chose this again because it's going to be a nice smooth surface, easy to work with, and when I put like any kind of screw into it, it countersinks without me having to mess with it too much, so that's also a nice plus. So what I'm going to end up doing is I need to get all sides of this to be even. So even though they're all, they all show up, they all are advertised as 4x2, they're not necessarily 4x2, they're a little bit, more or less on one side. So what I've done is I've taken all 4 panels, I've matched up one side here on the back to get as even as possible, as kind of like a reference side. The rest of them I'm going to go around with my power planer, which I'm really just going to set to the minimum cutting depth so that I can just kind of slowly take little bites off and just get the sides matched up and even and smooth. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to put on my traditional safety gear. Not really traditional, but just what I put on. So I've got a dust mask because anytime you're working with a lot of dust, especially when you don't have a whole lot of ventilation, you definitely want to have some kind of dust mask to ensure that you're not breathing in all that stuff and hurting your lungs. And then also, with all the particles flying around, I don't get them in my eyes, so I've got some nice goggles here as well. So this mask is making it hard to breathe to talk, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. It seems like an odd thing for the mask to do, because it should probably not make it hard to breathe. Anyway, it's got kind of a weird filter in it that puts out like a weird smell, so it tastes like they used to. Anyway, so like I said, I'm going to get started, and there will be some time compression in here, but for those of you watching the whole video, this is what it is, and you're not going to hear me talking much because this thing gets kind of loud. Alright, so now I got 4 panels, they're all the same size, very close to anyway. There might be, a decimal of a millimeter of difference, which is fine because I'm cutting that piece off anyway. So next thing I need to do is I'm actually going to start cutting. I'm going to start cutting the cutaway portion for where the screen's going to go. Now for that, I'm only going to need 2 pieces of this material. So I'm going to take 2 out, get back on there. Take 2 off, and this stuff isn't the lightest thing in the world. And if you're curious what size I'm using as far as thickness, I'm actually using 1/4 inch, the 4x2 MDF panels, because it's really all I need. I don't need a lot of thickness for this particular project, because these panels are going to be supported enough when I'm done with it anyway. I gotta make sure these are clamped on real well, because the next step is going to be cutting in the little kind of stylized portion, and I'm going to start by doing the slope piece at the top. That's going to give me a little bit of waste, which is going to be what I want, so that I can do my so I can kind of figure out how much more of this I'm going to need to buy. for my later on projects, or follow-on parts of it. So if I look at the drawing that I've got, all right, so here's my drawing. We're right there. So what I need to do is cut in this angle up here, right? So what I'm basically telling myself with this is I need a slope of 6 inches, and it needs to slope down to 6 inches basically is all that is. So I'm going to assume that this side here is the front end, and that means it's going to slope this way. So all I have to do is come over here, find my straight edge, which, oh, there we go, found it. Find my straight edge, and find my pencil, which I definitely have nearby. I don't have to go somewhere else for. Here it is, I found my pencil, which was real close by. Anyway, so I just need 6 inches here of slope. So y-x, you know, this is where you get into your algebra, where you're like, all right, y equals mx squared plus b, right? So if I do y equals mx squared plus b, I'm just going to estimate, so screw it. That's what they teach kids in Common Core these days, right? Just estimate? I thought that's how it worked. just estimate. You don't need to know the exact anything. I guess that's mostly true. All right, so I've got that as a... Give me a straight line if I need it. So what I'm trying to do is get a... I need to do something a bit longer. So I need a nice flat piece of wood. There we go. This is good. Nice piece of oak. All right. So I'm going to use this as a straight edge. And what I'm going to do is just mark out a line between my 6-inch mark and the top corner of wherever this was. If you wanted to have it a different way, just put the other corner wherever lower height that you wanted to do it. But there we go. So I got myself a nice line there. And the way I'm going to cut this one is I'm going to use my old friend the jigsaw. Now, jigsaws are great because you can do pretty much anything with the jigsaw. I think I showed that. They're great for cutting holes. They're also not bad for just cutting a straight line, as long as you have a steady hand. If you don't have a steady hand, you might want to use a different tool. You also could do this with a skill saw, circular saw, but you know, it's up to you however you want to do it. Now, just one thing to keep in mind is always use the right blade. So I got a metal cutting blade out there from my previous work that I was doing. So I'll put that back. And let's see. So the more teeth you have, the finer the finish when it comes to cutting utensils. So I selected a nice blade here with plenty of teeth, and I'm going to use that for my cutting tool. If I can get it in there. There it goes. I think. Pretty sure it's in there good. Alright. I also made the jump to you know, go green. Not getting Ryobi, not even that's really green. I just use all electric tools for the most part now. Because I found that these battery ones are actually really freaking convenient. Because I don't have to deal with extension cords anymore. So now I'm just going to grab my goggles real quick. And put my mask back on, and then we'll be ready to go and get another cut. Alrighty. Now, one thing I want to think about a little bit is maybe just using my damn eyeglasses, because they're not eyeglasses, but you know, plain old plastic glasses, but whatever. Oh, so depending on your saw, you'll have different options. You'll have like a speed and a precision modifier, whatever the hell that stuff is. Pretty much one determines how much of an orbit the saw goes from side to side, the other, or from front to back. The other one is you know, how fast it goes. So if I have to make it go faster or slower. And depending on your saw, you might actually have variable speed just by pulling the trigger. So up to you how you want to do that. For me though, I'm going to do the one on this one. And here we go. So I'm not going to start on the edge, which has, you know, nowhere to get a cutting started. If I start at the edge, it actually has, you know, somewhere to mess it up, I guess. So here we go. I hate Florida heat. Sucks. Alright, so I've got that cut. That's nice and smoothed up, and that's going to be the top portion. Next thing I need to do is get the little inlay in cut done. So for that I need to do a few more measurements. So I need to do about a 6-inch in cut. So I go down 7 inches, and then what I need to do is go over 6 inches and then down 2 inches from there, and then I can make an idea of where I'm going to cut out. And I do the same thing towards the bottom of this to get the other measurement, or the other line for how I'm going to cut this. I'm also going to try a different blade because maybe there's something wrong with that blade, or maybe another one will work better, we'll see. But, so, back to my plans here. So I need to do 6 inches in. Well, first I need to figure out where 7 inches down is. I'm going to take my clamps and move them out of the way a little bit. So 7 inches down, it's going to be here. So from there, I need to go 6 inches in. 6 inches in and then 2 inches down from that mark. And that's where I'll start drawing my lines. So, also need to do something like this. Actually, I've got a 6-inch line right on my flat edge, so I'll just use that. So there's that, and then I want to go 2 inches down from there. So 2 inches down from that mark is going to put me at right about there. So I need to cut. So basically I'm going to put in 2 lines here. And then I need to get the angle from here to here. I don't really need to get the angle, I just need a flat edge to mark off the cut. So there we go, it's going to be like that. Get it a little bit sharper. Alright, there we go. Got a little bit of screw up, but it's fine because I'm going to sand it a little bit and paint over it anyhow, so it doesn't really matter. And that might just be, it's going to be the inside face anyhow. So now I need to get the bottom measurement put in, which I believe is going to be 6 inches in again. Yep. So it's 6 inches in, and it's also going to be, I need to go 18 inches down from this line. So if I go 18 inches down, and I got my flat edge here, or my straight edge here, my speed square, so I know exactly where that 8 inches is, or that 6 inches might be. Alright, so 18 inches down puts me at the start of it, and I need to go 4 more inches down from there to give me the bottom section of where that angle is going to end. So that'll be here. And then again, I'm just going to use my speed square to mark off the angle. So, got my angles marked off. Now the other thing I want to do is give myself a nice straight line to follow as I'm cutting this way as well. So what I'll do there is grab my handy dandy oak board that I had, and I'll just make this, just connect these 2 points Connect that out. Oops. There we go. So what it's going to come down to is this whole area is going to be what I'm cutting off. See if I have a good marking of that. So I'm going to start my cut, and then I'll finish the cut. Okay, well, there it is. So, kind of started to take some shape here. Go ahead and zoom out on what we got. So, if I move all the stuff off here, and you can actually take a look at it. So it's gonna, you'll see that it has actually the shape of an arcade machine. Whew. All right, so put that away. Alright, so move it back over here. So there you go. So this is what this is going to look like, pretty much. This is going to be the inside side, and I'll try to, I can't zoom out anymore, but I can move backwards. So there you go. So this is going to be the inside side of it. This is going to be a large portion of it. So basically what I'm going to do is get two of these side by side, and then put a piece in between, and then that will make up, you know, the sides of the cabinet, the top side of the cabinet, and then I've got, you know, the other boards there. I'm going to use those to basically make the back side of these will join to. Or actually, no, sorry, those are going to, those two other pieces of MDF I have, those are going to be for, to make this the right height, because essentially I want this thing to be, if I'm standing here, I want it to be about here, pretty much. That's where I want this to be. So I have to figure out my measurements for the other boards, and then just give those a quick cut. And once I got that done, we'll be ready to start figuring out how I'm going to join these panels to the back. So I'm going to cut for now while I get the rest of the stuff set up, and then I'll show you the rest of the measurements.